Biden has sent out notices to 50 states informing them that the water supply for the United States is being hacked by China.
Important warning for America's governors directly from the Biden administration. Hackers are targeting water and wastewater systems from coast to coast.
Why is it that a news service is reporting it, but our own government is not telling us? They'll send out all kinds of notices about the COVID, but they won't send us any notices about what's being hacked and what's not being hacked. The American government is telling us nothing. And that is very sad. As a taxpayer, I shouldn't be informed what's going on. And if they know for a fact that China is attacking our water supply, then why are we dealing with them on business? Why are billionaires having products made there and brought over? I have those products are changing and they're getting made in Turkey and other places. And China is starting to become less and less and less. But it's not making any sense. So is China separated into two groups here? Do we have the group of hackers that are trying to destroy the U.S., but then we have the business people that aren't? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I know all this is true because I am super busy. Literally, I am super busy. I have client after client. If I have, I don't know, 4 to 8 clients a day that have been hacked. And they're contacting. My site's down. I don't know why. What's going on? And then I start. Some sites take me 12 hours to get set up. Some take 2 hours. It all depends on what they're using to hack into it. They're trying to get access to these servers because the more servers they have access to, so let's say, for example, I have access to 100,000 servers, 100,000 websites. I can then send out a ping, which does a DOS attack, a DOS attack, after somebody. So if I attack, say, the American government server, and I send out 100,000 from all these other computers, what happens is they register on the Washington site, oh, somebody's coming in, let them in. Let them enter their username and password. But they're doing this 100,000 times a minute. And this is referred to as a DOS attack, a denial of service. So what ends up happening is the Washington website just goes down. Nobody can access it. You have to actually install special computers to actually track and ban these IPs. It's just ridiculous how much work it takes. And my clients, yes, I'm making more money, but it's very frustrating. I could actually get a client fixed, spend 7 hours work on it, everything's running smooth, run my test programs, everything looks good. 4 days later, it gets taken down again. Well, how do you think that makes me look? So now the client's over there going, I said, I thought you fixed it. I did. I says, let me run some tests. I can't even charge him at this time because I'm just sitting here with a question on my brain. You have to think, I'm dealing with 20, 100, 1,000 programmers to where I'm one guy. And I got to locate this. Now, I end up finding out they found another hole and they did something else. Now, how do you explain this to a client? Because the client's going to think I'm ripping them off. Some clients probably think I'm doing it. And it's ridiculous. I've actually had to set up a camera and record my screen for 7 hours while I'm working, so certain clients I know that just don't take me for my word would see what I'm doing in case they want to watch the video, is what I'm doing. The majority of my clients just trust me at my word, which is nice. But you still get people that don't. And it's getting ridiculous. So if they're attacking the water supply, then think about this for a minute. What else are they attacking? Are they attacking the stoplights? Are they attacking our city halls? Are they attacking our money? Are they attacking taxes? I mean, they're trying to break into anything and everything. And when a hacker breaks into something, it's really not that dangerous other than, okay, you might get some funky tasting water. But that's not why they're doing it. It would be great if they could kill off 50 million Americans and they would think that's wonderful. But we're actually, like Pennsylvania, for example.
The feds know who is responsible for the cyber attacks.
Well, Nicole, no secret there, China and Iran, including a water plant in Pennsylvania. Residents were unaffected because an alarm prompted the plant to immediately switch to manual operations. Not all agencies have such capacities.
As you've seen from that clip, Pennsylvania, for example, has it set up where all computers are shut down and they go into manual. And probably that's what most states are going to have to do here about our water. But it's not about just one thing. You see, they're attacking many different things. And by doing so is for creating chaos. So imagine if they do an attack on us or some other country like Australia and we're protecting them. And then all of a sudden they attack the US. All of a sudden you have no lights. Your water's tainted, you can't even drink it. And now you're sitting there all confused. A lot of people have Siri sitting in their houses. You know, a lot of times you will turn something on, like for example your cell phone or anything that runs on electronics, and if you actually were to read the fine print and start going in and taking a closer look, they're contacting a server in China. When it makes no sense. Why would a camera be contacting a server in China? Or any of these electronic devices, so they can shut them all down. And that's the end of it. And, you know, at one time, people used to be paranoid to where they would put a piece of tape over their camera because they seen the guy on Facebook do it, where we've allowed them to come into our homes. And nobody's taking any precautions whatsoever. And it's sad. I mean, to be literally honest with you, a phone should not come into your house. You should go back to using a landline. I have nothing. That's what I have. A phone should be put into a bag that basically they can't see, do, or anything. And they can't hear you. Maybe put it out in the garage, maybe a shed. I don't know, but that phone is not your friend. Now, when you leave the house, sure, you need a phone. Take the phone with you. But people use the phone as if it's their own personal computer now instead of buying a personal computer. So they sit there and they look at that little screen going blind while China examines and learns everything about us. It's really sad. I don't own a cell phone whatsoever. My wife does. And when I need to use a cell phone, I'll take her cell phone and use it for directions. But other than that, I never use a cell phone. People get shocked when they hear, why don't you have a cell phone? Well, because I'm a computer programmer. I know what they can do. You just look at January 6th, what happened there. They caught all those people because of their cell phones. Their cell phones basically ratted them out. Your cell phone's not your friend. But what's going to happen is a lot of people get worried. Russia's over to saying, oh, he's going to launch a nuke. If he launches a nuke, it'll be on Ukraine. It'll be to send a message, which is really stupid because really he's not going to launch nukes on USA. I can't see it. Instead, he's partners over there with China, and they're going to shut down every device they've basically hacked into. Water supply, electricity, everything. And then there's going to be panic. You just shut the power off in my town for 10 minutes and everybody's flipping out calling the power company. And meanwhile, it was just a tree that fell on a pole. And they tell you it's going to take an hour to fix. Oh, God forbid. They just lost their internet. They can't do this. They can't do that. People really don't like their lives being inconvenienced. But right now, the government has released that he has contacted 50 states and he's telling them to do something about their water supply. But he didn't tell us. Any president that doesn't tell us what another country's doing, as far as I'm concerned, is a piece of shit. And when we have to hear something through some news service, that is ridiculous. He has complete control over the cameras over the United States. He can just step up there and say, I've sent out notices to 50 states about the water supplies. Here's a plan on what you can do. But he doesn't. It's like he's scared to talk. I don't want that type of president. And it's almost like you have to be aware of what's going on around you. Now, I'm making pretty good money. I'll just keep fixing these websites as I go. And of course, my experience speaks volumes for what I'm doing here. But it's crazy what it's going to do to the regular person and how it's going to affect your life. A lot of preppers are prepping for, oh, they got their little solar generators and everything else. Those solar generators are made by China. They connect to China. They can shut them down at a moment's notice. So they turned around and they spent money on something for nothing. I have constantly yelled from the rooftops that if you're going to have a solar generator, make your own. There are tons of videos on YouTube that show you how, and if it breaks, you can replace the battery, and the cost to replace it is a whole heck of a lot cheaper than buying one. Anything breaks in that solar generator, you're going to be throwing it in the garbage. It's a paperweight. And this is going on with everything: cameras, computers, cell phones, anything that holds electronics in, anything that's starting to hold AI. And that's kind of scary. It's almost like Terminator's coming to be and it's coming in full circle. Can you imagine if China is in charge of most of the AI and then it informs the AI what to do out of a program? And next thing you open your eyes and you got some weird thing crawling across your chest getting ready to take you out because it was invoked to do so. We're not very far from this. You're more of, you hear people saying, keep your head on a swivel, and people are like looking around. It's the people that are going to hurt me. But you're not keeping your head on a swivel with all the electronic devices, because that is what's going to hurt you. And what does Biden do? He still keeps dealing with China. China should be cut off. And I don't care what it does to our economy, or we pay more money for things and we have to go without things for a while. Oh well, stuff will start being made in the US. The day they crossed the river and they decided to start getting things made in China because, hey, that water bottle would cost us $50 to make here. But okay, we get it made in China, we pay $8. We're condoning slaves. And we're putting ourselves at risk. You just look at what goes on with food. I mean, the entire cereal aisle, they found that Cheerios had all kinds of chemicals in it that was killing people. That entire cereal is horrible. And you feed that to your kids. Even when you tell somebody, I actually was in the grocery store and I told somebody, I said, you know, the cereal has poison in it. It has all kinds of chemicals in it that is hurting your child. It's all over the internet. They look at me and say, well, what am I supposed to do? It's easy to make. Make it yourself. And I'm just letting you know. It's your life. And I walk away and I see them put 2 or 3 boxes in the buggy. They think I'm nuts. And I'm like, wow. Are people really like this? You try to tell them, you try to inform them, you're killing your kid. And they're like, oh, I don't have time to do something else. Fine, let my kid do. I mean, I'm just like amazed over what I'm seeing is going on with schools and everything they're doing. I mean, it's a world I never thought I'd be living in. But you don't only have your head on a swivel for people that are trying to hurt you. You better have your head and your brain on the swivel for propaganda and China attacking you through your devices. And you better be aware of it when it comes. You know, back in World War II, you used to hear, shh, they're listening. Big Brother's listening. They always had signs up that, you know, the enemy was listening. And they were very, very careful where they talked. The same thing appears. Can you imagine the entire United States is bugged? Every single phone in the United States will be reporting back to China, and they got over 50,000 little Chinamen and ladies sitting on a computer listening and writing down everything. So they literally have millions and millions of spies looking out their windows going, well, I don't see nothing. I don't know why I don't have no power. And all of a sudden, one comes across the wire. We have power here. I don't know what's going on. And they report that back to command, and then it's like, send a missile over there. Put it into that. Because that doesn't make sense. And get our team of programmers trying to figure out why we couldn't put an end to that. This is tests. And that's what programmers do. They test. And that's what you're kind of ending up doing. They're doing tests to find out what's going on. Anyhow, I thought I'd make you aware of it. What you do with it is up to you. But more and more places are being hacked. Having your money in banks might not be a good idea. Or you might want to spread it out. Understand, everything is ran by computers. And your life is probably in danger because of it if you're not aware of it. I'll catch you guys on the next one.
The new federal warning follows testimony by FBI Director Christopher Wray in January, alerting a House panel that China holds an enormous cyber advantage.
The PRC has a bigger hacking program than that of every major nation combined.
If you focused all of the FBI's cyber professionals on the China threat, we would still be at what sort of disadvantage?
We would be at a disadvantage of at least 50 to 1, the defining threat of our generation.